Hello, my name is Juvonen. I'm a Principal Product Manager in Microsoft 365 platform areas, and in this video we'll have a look on how you can use the Viva Connection Toolkit to validate your development environment and also install the required dependencies, technical dependencies, to start your SharePoint Framework development. Because, well, when you're building for Microsoft Viva, you are actually using SharePoint Framework as well. So let's jump right into the desktop. This one here is my Windows 11 machine, so it's a super clean. We haven't installed even Node.js on it at this point, but we wanted to actually show you the experience with Viva Connection Toolkit. So let me actually start Visual Studio Code. So let me go and spin up the Visual Studio Code available, and we can already see that the Viva Connection Toolkit is already available and installed within the machine. We can of course get it installed from the extensions, and in here we can already see that it's getting installed. Just to call out, this video has been recorded with the 0.3.2 version. There might be some small adjustments and improvements later on depending on the version what you're using. Now, when I move to the extension side and I activate the Viva Connection Toolkit extension, I can see the different options which are available. So I can actually start creating the Viva Connection project. I can start from a scenario. I can start from samples, community or Microsoft provided samples, or I can open an existing app, which is an option. Of course, none of those really work at this point because we haven't even installed the Node.js on this machine. So it's a super clean machine. And that means that I can, when I click the check dependencies, we can actually see the needed guidance on what version I should be installing on this particular machine. So it's explicitly calling out at the moment that the right version would be 16.13 forward or less than 17.0.js version. And again, this highly depends on the SharePoint Framework version, which has been released at the time what you're using. So SharePoint Framework is always using the latest and greatest for Viva Connection and providing the latest and greatest capabilities for Viva Connection. So pretty soon you will see the 18 version being supported for Node.js, but at the time of recording this video, the latest version of Node.js which is supported is 16.19, if I remember correctly. Now, we cannot install the dependencies yet because we are missing the Node.js completely from this machine. So let's pause the video until the Node.js has been completely installed, and we'll re-execute the dependency check after that. Good. So now we have installed the Node.js on this machine, and we can probably just way to check that one out is to just spin up a terminal and do a node v, and you can actually see that the 16.9 version have been installed within this machine. So that's the currently latest version of Node.js 16 at the time of recording this video. So cool. So now we have some progress. So I can now go and start Visual Studio Code. And we can again use our Viva Connection Toolkit to validate our situation. Now, the next exception is not quite optimal, so we need to work on updating the exception description a bit. But when I check the dependencies, we clearly have an exception available. So it isn't explicitly telling you what's the what is the missing dependencies, but luckily, we have this awesome button in here, which makes it super easy to set up your development environment. So I can just quickly install all of the dependencies by clicking that button, and that starts the required installation from npm, installing gulp CLI, Microsoft Generator SharePoint, and of course a Juvonen generator, which is behind the scenes what's happening. Now, as part of the Viva Connection Toolkit, we are actually also using CLI for Microsoft 365, but that's already installed as part of the default configuration of the Viva Connection Toolkit. So behind the scenes, the whole Viva Connection Toolkit works together with SharePoint Framework Juvonen generator and CLI for Microsoft 365, which are empowering all of these awesome capabilities. For example, the installing dependencies and checking dependencies and all of those things, and the other operations which we can see in the project level whenever we go there. But that's a quick kind of a introduction on how do I get started on installing the dependencies and what are the checks which we provide by default in the Viva Connection Toolkit. So what do you need to do to get started, and also those options which are available to helping you to get started in or configuring your development environment.